All right, y'all, I'm Jonathan Joyner. This is Hunt the Front, and today we're doing something a little different. It's a weekend, we're not racing, and we're sitting around the garage here, and we had a lot of questions from our Facebook page and our Instagram, and some from comments on YouTube as well. And so we're gonna take a little time and answer them today. Before we get started, I want to talk quickly about what we got going on. Like I said, no racing for us this weekend. Our next events will be next weekend, Saturday, July 6th. Joseph, he's right over there, you can see him. He'll be at Tri-County racing with the Mississippi State Super Late Models, and I'll be driving the 56 back at Southern Raceway points race. We're tied for the points lead with the 2 car. So we'll be going different ways next weekend. Not sure how that's going to work. We'll try to have a video from both tracks. So we'll see how it goes. Anybody going to be at Tri-County want a video Joseph, let me know, because I won't be there. I'll be at Southern Racing. Also t-shirts. We got t-shirts, we got hats, huntthefront.net/shop. Check us out at huntthefront.net/shop. I'll leave a link down in the description. We have plenty of t-shirts and hats available. We're going to get driver shirts soon. We'll have 5610, Joseph Joyner, Jonathan Joyner. We'll have them on t-shirts soon. That's going to be the next thing we're working on. We'll have some of those available as well. All right, let's get started with the video. I'll go ahead and I'll just show y'all our setup we got over here. Y'all take a look. We got our ladder. I'm gonna go ahead and answer one question. Someone asked what kind of equipment we're using. We're using a ladder.
Multi-purpose.
We got a GoPro with a mic, and we got another GoPro over here with no mic. That's the GoPro that's usually in the cars. This is the GoPro I'm talking to. I also talk to my phone quite a bit when I video, using my phone quite a bit. So there's our equipment. That's one question down. The ladies, this is Shadow. That is my wife, Jonathan's wife. This is Kayla. That is Joseph's wife. They're going to be our moderators. They're going to ask the questions. They're going to keep us straight. Make sure we're not falsifying anything. Then obviously we got Joseph over here, and I'll be sitting beside him there. All right, y'all ready to get started?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, let me make sure these other cameras are rolling, and we'll get started.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, one of y'all, you're gonna want to edit out that whole conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, y'all just roll with a question.
Please
You
start
pick.
with the best one on here.
Okay, so let's start. This is the best
Take
one.
it from the top.
Joshua Robert Joyner.
Oh. I think I've heard of that guy.
When is the best looking of the 3 Joyner brothers going to make an appearance on the vlog?
Oh, well, we're here now.
So, Joshua Robert Joyner, thank you for your question. That is actually my twin brother, Joseph, our brother, my twin brother. He has been in one of our videos. Our first ever video, we went to Bubba Raceway Park. Go back and check it out. Joseph finished fourth in the Durance Lane race down there. 10,000 win big show. Pretty good run. Anyway, Joshua was in it. I don't know when he's going to be back on the vlog, whenever he shows up and comes to the track. So
I guess to accurately answer his question,
you tell us.
He was actually already in one, so that question makes 0 sense.
Exactly.
Next.
Yeah, next question. Next question.
Okay, I have one from Tristan95 on Instagram. Tell us about your first win.
Who?
Oh, you start.
First feature win. I started in a bomber. They called it a hog class. It basically knocked the windows out of a.
Well, you had to have a roll cage in it.
And have a roll cage and maybe a little 350 motor or something, and go race it. And I was 12, about halfway through my first year somewhere. We had went to Talladega Short Track the week before. I think it was the week before, a couple weeks before, something. And run good. Finally, kind of broke out of a shell there, I guess, and got to race on a different racetrack. And come back to Southern Raceway and won the heat race and led every lap of the feature.
There you go.
And got my first win there, and so it was all good. What about you?
So that would have been
2006. Yep.
My first win would have been in 2000, also in the hog, the bomber division, in what was my second ever race. So my first race was at Southern. Went there, we got torn up, I don't remember. But my second race, I do remember. We went to Flomaton Speedway in Flomaton, Alabama, and drew the pole of a heat race and won it, and then started on pole of the feature and got out front and stayed there. So my second ever race, I think I was 13 years old in the bomber division. At Flomaton Speedway. That was my first win. First ever.
And then the next time you went, is that when you called?
Yeah. The very next trip, like 2 weeks later, went up there and flipped and totaled the car. But that, that's a whole nother story.
Such is life. That is racing.
So Dustin Nave from Facebook, have you and Joseph ever gotten into it on the racetrack?
Like with each other?
That's what I'm guessing.
No to that.
No to that.
Now we do argue. I think we get into it more with Daddy than we do with each other.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But,
I guess he's talking about as far as racing each other there on the same track at the same time.
No.
Honestly, I can't think of a time we've been right beside each other very much.
Yeah.
You know, usually
Well,
just hasn't worked out.
In the pits, like you guys get mad at each other?
We get along well. Well, I think Joseph and I get along pretty well. I think and maybe we'll try to include some of this in the video, but we butt heads quite a bit with Daddy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think,
I feel like every time when we come in, it seems like me and Jonathan we're both, I guess, more or less mellow about it, but it seems like when we come in, us and Daddy will more or less have a different idea.
But then we always seem to like kind of meet in the middle.
So, most of the time, and whether it's right or wrong, we wind up, everything's
just in case that question was if we'd ever been in an altercation with other drivers. The answer to that is yes for me.
Oh yeah.
I won't go into much detail, but last year about this time I was in a street stock car, driving someone else's car, one time deal, and a guy spun me out after the race was over. Never touched him the whole race, never seen him, and he wrecked me after the race. And I don't know. Yeah, I'll put a link down in the description. I wrote about it on the blog last year. Y'all go read it.
I think it was March of 2015, my big altercation with a certain driver, made contact racing for the lead. And hard racing for the lead, like 2 laps to go on a one group track.
Oh yeah,
we moved him. No doubt about it.
Exactly. Next question. Got on a tangent there.
From Instagram, Oliver Cordell Racing, favorite track.
You go. You've raced at a lot more tracks than I have, so you take that one first.
Man, I don't know. I like a racetrack that kind of slicks off and maybe leaves a couple streaks there where you can find a little bit of grip, and maybe I think there's 2 places that I know that's good at that, and that's Sonoya and Magnolia. Sonoya, Georgia is a good place at that. I mean, it's awesome. And Magnolia is a lot like that. I think it might every time we've been there, it might start out a little bit more hooked up and leave some more traction strips through the track there through the night. So that makes it a little bit more of a challenge trying to find a good lap there. But those 2 tracks, if we're gonna go somewhere at this point in time, I can't decide which one of them would be my favorite. And they're both about the same amount of time from the house.
So you like Magnolia and Sonoya? Yeah,
those are
2 slick and racy tracks.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, my racing experience is more limited to local than Joseph's, but I do remember a trip we made to Duck River in Tennessee, Tennessee, I think. Man, I was like, it had been 2003 or 4 in the Steelhead late model division, and I was just getting into late models. I think I was like 15, 16 years old, and it was just the first track I had been on that was racing top to bottom, but it was still real tight, because if you know anything about Duck River, it's a small tight track, but they race all over it. So as far as racing experience goes, I think it would be Duck River. I like Sonoya. I love going up there and racing Magnolia too, or going with Joseph. I'd love to take my car up there sometime. But yeah, I think for me, driving wise, as far as the tracks I've raced on, probably Duck River would probably be my favorite. Good question.
Pretty good.
All right, what's next, ladies?
Tony P on Facebook. Why the choice of number 10 for you, Joseph, and then 56 for Jonathan?
Those both numbers, 56 and 10, have been in the family for quite a while. Do you know the story behind the 10?
Oh boy, no. I know Dad when Daddy was racing early, he was number 10. Yeah. And then I know when I first started, I was 56 when I was in the lower division.
Until you moved, we were together. So we were both 56. And then we got both in late model. You caught up to me, and we were both in late model, and you switched to 10. The story, let's start with the 56, because it's been in the family longer. The story behind the 56, I can't believe you don't know either of these.
Man, I might have heard them, but I don't know them 100% sure.
You know?
I do.
Hold on. Let me turn the camera on for you. You know the story behind the 56?
56 was Lamar's number.
Yes, it was our Uncle Lamar, Daddy's older brother.
And then 102.7 was going to sponsor your dad, and they backed out.
All right, so
he took the 2.7 off.
Right, you never put all right. Good, yeah, she
and
does
then it works
know.
out that Joseph's also born on 10/10.
There you go. 56, my uncle got a motorcycle, got into motorcycle racing back, I don't know, been in the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, heck.
And he and some buddies, he was probably younger than us. He and some buddies went to over to Mississippi racing.
I heard this story now that
You heard you do know the story.
Yeah.
They bought brand new nice fine motorcycles, didn't know nothing about what they were doing. They were just going to race. And they didn't have numbers on them. They got to the track, and my uncle Lamar, the track gave him the number. Oh, you don't have a number? You're number 56. I guess maybe is the 56th rider. And that's just been, he raced 56 as a motorcycle. My cousin, his son Jody, ran the number 56 around here at Southern and other tracks back in the 90s. And then Daddy was 56 when he drove for Lamar in the late 90s, early 2000s. So then when I started, I was 56. The 10, when Daddy first started, he put 10 on his car because of the local radio station 102.7. They were working on a deal where they were going to sponsor him. So he put, and they couldn't ever get it finalized. So he said, you know what, I'm gonna put the 1 and the O on it, and I'll leave room for the 2.7. And it fell through. Never worked it out with the radio station, so he just left 10 on there.
Boy.
So he was number 10 for a while. Joseph went back to number 10 whenever we got together in late model racing each other, and we couldn't both be 56.
Yeah,
So.
wow, what a story.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Yep.
What's next, ladies?
Okay, it's my turn. Instagram. Most memorable racing moment.
I think I know where you're going.
From him.
Yeah.
For that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
forgot to mention that was from CXM Ritter on Instagram.
All right.
Okay, well, mine will definitely be winning the Southern 100.
Yeah,
at,
10,000.
Southern Raceway.
Was that 2015?
2015. Really, there definitely wasn't a moment. I guess it just was the way the whole
weekend.
The whole weekend, we struggled the whole entire time. Barely got in the show. Started way in the back, and it tried to rain. It sprinkled the whole time we were racing, and wound up just coming through the field. I mean,
we drove it driving by them.
I mean, I couldn't mess up. Like I could
It was
not.
your night.
Whatever I did, I could not lose a spot. We just passed everybody and got up through there and took the lead about right after halfway and led the rest of it, 100 lapper.
$10,000.
And we went into the race thinking we had
Starting part.
full intentions on starting the race. When the first caution come out, if we hadn't moved up, pulling off the track. First caution come out, and we had gained like 6 spots.
Yeah, I remember texting.
We just kept going on with it, and
I was texting Joshua updates. He was in Jacksonville, couldn't watch, or you're not watching, so I was texting him updates, and I remember texting him about lap 15, whatever. It was like the second or third caution. I think we're gonna win this thing, and or I think we can win it or whatever. And dang if we didn't win it. Yeah. For me, I mean, honestly.
Wait, hold on, but that's how I got this. So.
There you go. There's where the money went. I think for me, honestly, that was probably for me the moment as well. But being a part of that, I mean, it's on our website, by the way, huntthefront.net. I wrote about it. I'll put a link down in below. I wrote about that night. Y'all can go to the blog and read it. For me, though, as a driver, I think it was winning the points out at Southern in 2008. Man, we raced like 26 times that year, and there was another driver I was racing really tight with, and it came down to right there at the end of the year, and the winner was going to get a brand new 604 crate motor. They really wanted to win it, and we were tight, and ended up winning, and it just clinching that championship. I think just knowing how hard we had worked all year. I think to me, coming out on top was really meaningful. So.
Points racing, no matter what level, is tough.
Yeah, definitely. It's easier now when a points championship. Me and the 2-car, we only have 10 races that we're racing, so it's easier. Like
was every Saturday.
Yeah, it was back then. It was every. I think we ran 26 points races, and it was brutal. And there were so many times when I wanted to back out and like, this is it. I'm done. And we didn't. We stuck with it, and we won the thing. And I just remember feeling like, this was worth it,
Yep.
So anyway, good questions.
This one is on Facebook from Tyler S. It's kind of more towards Jonathan and you, Shadow. What are your plans for Tennyson as far as racing? How soon before he gets behind the wheel of something?
That is a great question.
Roll cage. That's my only request Roll cage.
Request or requirement?
Requirement. Edit that requirement. Roll cage, fire suit, helmet. 5-point harness.
Honestly, I mean, it's not something we've talked about it, and Shadow's thing is, oh yeah, he's got to be in a car with a roll cage. And they have the slingshots down here. It's kind of new, and I know they race them in the Pennsylvania area, New York, something like that. And it's something they kind of introduced here, and they're a little smaller, kind of look like open wheel modifieds a little bit, but really small, like a cross between a go-kart and an open wheel modified. I don't know much about them. I know that a lot of kids around here are racing them, and I feel like that'll be something Tennyson will get in. Obviously, go-karts. We got several go-kart tracks around here, and that's kind of where we started. Never really raced go-karts, competitively, but we raced all in the yard, since we were old enough to reach the pedals.
We learned how to race on
go-karts and four-wheelers. and Joseph raced motorcycles, but I don't know if that's going to be an option for Tennyson.
No, I wouldn't recommend that.
Probably, we'll be looking to get him a go-kart soon. Very soon. Yes, very soon.
He's already 4.
Yeah. So, go-kart probably. It's something that we're just going to let it play out. I hope it's something we can kind of, include here. Put it once he gets in behind the wheel or something. That'll be a part of what we do, part of the channel here. So, looking forward to that. I don't know. I know it's coming soon. So, stay tuned. All right, y'all. We filmed that video yesterday evening. It is now Saturday, race day for a lot of y'all, but as you can tell, we're not racing. We are actually down at Pensacola Beach for a few days. There's our condo, kind of in the back up there. A little family time, little family vacay. But anyway, what I realized editing that video is that we had a lot of good stuff, and I didn't want to hit y'all with a really long video, and I didn't want to cut too much out. So we're gonna do a 2-part question and answer. Hope you enjoyed the first part. I'm gonna try to finish editing the next part 2, and get it uploaded in a day or 2. So be on the lookout for that. We will continue with our questions and our answers in our next video, and that'll be coming very soon. If you race this weekend, hope you had a good race. We'll be back in action next week. Me and Joseph will both be racing, him at Tri-County in the Super, me at Southern in the Crate. In the meantime, be sure to leave us a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.